I'm sort of wrapping up my day. I'm not really sure. I've just had a really, not just busy, I've just had an intense week. So I thought I would turn this on. I'm trying to stream like maybe once a week. Would be kind of nice. And last time I streamed, actually it was a week ago. It was on my birthday. Last time I streamed, I enjoyed it and kind of like was nice for my energy. So I thought I would turn this on because what I'm doing now, I haven't had dinner and I need to just get things ready for Shabbat. So I'm cleaning up, kind of, I don't know, sort of putting things away. Everything feels a little messy right now. So I hope you won't see too much of a mess in the background. Like this is my desk right now. And a bit of a state of chaos. So I'm going to tidy up. I'll probably end up working still more after dinner. Maybe I should because I didn't finish all the stuff on my list today. And let's see. Hey guys, 3 people and 1 thumbs up, which is nice. So today, like earlier, so yeah, I have a bit of a mess in the background, so you'll have to excuse it. My home is usually like quite clean, like almost like impeccably clean, like it's usually in its ideal state. But throughout the day, I'll be messy and like I'll leave, things open like that and my desk will get messy and then I just kind of re-clean, tidy up. In other words, I don't really keep things so tidy as I'm working. I'll just leave things in a state of chaos and then bring it back into order. So that's what I'm doing right now. Houston, Texas. Hi, Christy. Texas is on my bucket list. I really want to go there, including Houston. Meorah. I think it's a Su. I always get confused with the accent marks, but hello from Turkey. That's really cool. I wonder if it's because of the time, like when I tend to stream, because I guess it's a little bit early in the day for people in the States, but I think it's so cool how international you guys are. I was really surprised by that last time. People from really countries I wouldn't have expected hopping on my little old stream. Hi, David and Lockjaw Wrestling. Hi. Interesting name. Yeah, so I'm cleaning up. I had a weird day. Like I don't even know what I ate. I guess I sort of ate. I didn't really eat a proper meal today. My mind is just scattered right now, and it's a little bit hard because I'm trying to manage this too. So my apartment is particularly kind of disheveled right now. Like I'll show you my table because I had a funny thing where it looks like I had to film like little YouTube shorts for the Big Jewish Ideas channel here on YouTube, and I was doing like B-roll for, like I have a couple of videos about Shabbat, and they asked me to send them some B-roll of me like pretending I'm lighting Shabbat candles and then also like setting a Shabbat table. So I like had this little setup with my Shabbat candles, which was kind of funny to, fake it. And then I also have this little setup here. And I didn't have any, they wanted me to set the table of food and stuff, and I really just didn't have any pretty food. So I just put a random little plate of pickles, and I just focused on this because I thought that was more like a Shabbat setup thing. And I had one little mini challah, so like I was just pretending that I was placing the one challah and like assuming I had another. So it was kind of a weird little setup. And actually the weird thing about this tricky little challah, I bought 2 of these last Shabbat, and I always like having these little mini rolls because like oftentimes it's just me, or even if I have a guest or so, we're not eating like 2 huge, like 2 like actual full chalot. So I'll just get these little mini guys. And there was a sticker on here. Oh, I just threw it out. There's a sticker on here, which I realized only after like Shabbos had started, that this is actually not a hamotzi challah. This is actually mezonot, which I don't really get how they do that, but basically you can find bread in Israel that doesn't count as bread you would wash and make hamotzi on. So it was kind of a bummer because that's the only reason why I got this last Shabbos. And I feel like they shouldn't make it look like a little challah if it's not hamotzi. So I was very taken aback by that last week. So I won't get those again. And actually, I didn't even like the taste of it because it was kind of sweet. And yeah, I'm not even gonna eat this. I just had it for a little food prop. Actually, I'm gonna add it to my little cat food. I have I like, you know, save little meat scraps and stuff for the cats outside. I don't have a cat. And I just have all this stuff in the freezer right now that I've been meaning to defrost and give to the cats. I just haven't gotten around to it, so I'll add this as well to my little cat food. Maybe I'll break it up. I love your live videos. Hi. Thank you. That's very nice. So I was trying to, the person on this channel, somebody had actually started to encourage me to try to do live stream, and I guess he's more like into Twitch and stuff, and I set up a Twitch account, and then I'm trying to use this platform called Restream, which lets you stream on multiple accounts, and I was trying to do that earlier, and something is up with my Twitch, so I haven't figured that out yet. Okay. Yeah, my freezer drawer of random food for the cats. It's actually really good stuff. It's like meat trimmings and things. I just have to bring it out at some point. And oh, look at all these beautiful cherry tomatoes I got. I just got those yesterday. Isn't this pretty? I actually really like this coffee cup design. I went to Roller Dean earlier and got some coffee before an appointment I had. And my rice cooker, I'm gonna make rice first before I do anything. I actually need a new rice cooker because I really wish they wouldn't make these non-stick linings in rice cookers, or really just pans in general. I try not to use this non-stick coating. It's like very toxic and it's just not healthy for you. So I really try to cook everything on stainless steel, except I cheat and I do have this little one non-stick pan just for like eggs and stuff because it's just easier. So I do have that, but I try to avoid this because this liner has like little scratches, and once you have a scratch, it basically leaches chemicals and non-stick poison into your food, which is really bad. So it's just frustrating because I have to basically throw out this rice cooker and buy a whole new one because it scratches, but I haven't done that yet. So I'll need one soon. What I would really like to do is get a nice one from Korea because the cords are actually the same in Korea and Israel. So I can buy like a nice fancy rice cooker in Korea and then bring it here. And it really makes like a huge difference when you cook rice in like an expensive rice cooker. The texture is so different. It retains the nutrients actually more because of the cooking temperature. It's actually just way better. And this one's just a cheap one I bought here. I'm actually going to make a big batch of rice and freeze some. Hi, Cat Mew. Shabbat Shalom. I have some manly looking hands, says some troll. No, a very kind person. This is what happens. I lost count. This is where my head is at today. I lost count of the cups. I think I had 3, but just to be safe. I'll do 5. The bags of rice I get here are so tiny. They come in like, I'm buying sushi rice, which is the closest thing to like Korean rice, and it's just sold in these really small bags. And I decided to just stay like real low key for Shabbat. I've been trying to be more social and like better about not being alone on Shabbat. But I'm just so tired this week, and last Shabbat I felt like it was the first time I really caught up on sleep since before the Chagim, and I really needed that. So I actually had a really busy and intense week this week. So I just feel like I need to retreat in a little bit of a cave. I'm gonna go to shul and everything. You know, on Friday and Saturday, so that's like my main activity, but I decided just to be alone for the meals, and I might end up going to a Suda Shlishit on Saturday, but I'm kind of not sure if I even have the energy. I always think about how, you know, someday when I get married, if I like I want to be the house that hosts Shabbos all the time. Like I love hosting, and I love cooking, and I love like preparing food for people. It like really makes me happy. So I know I'm going to be very busy for most Shabbats, God willing. So I feel like I'm just enjoying and soaking up this stage in my life, like when I can pull off having a solo Shabbat without, you know, guests and kids and all that. So I'm still enjoying it. Okay. I've got to see the line. 5 cups. So I'll have some now, save some, and then I'm gonna put like I'm gonna fold a bunch of this into little sheets and parchment paper. And I actually like to keep some rice frozen so it's just easy to pop in the microwave and eat later. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna let that soak first a little bit before I turn it on. Okay, come back to that. I don't really feel like cooking it. I'll wait a little bit. I have these, this is how messy I am. I didn't even clean this up from earlier, but I made these, which are like little pancakey things, I guess. I mean, it's tofu, egg, scallions, peppers, and carrots, like very small, like diced up, and just a little bit of potato starch to bind it. And I just fried those up, so I ate that as a little side dish. But I have a whole thing of that in my fridge, which I have to cook up. And I just don't feel like doing it yet. And I might end up, I don't know, I might end up freezing some of those too. Matcha Mong Ruad. Shalom, happy almost Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. How do you learn Hebrew? Solo Shabbat sounds amazing too. So I haven't learned Hebrew yet. I've like taught myself how to read and write gradually, so that I can pray and things like that. So I'm still working on it, and I actually switched now to an online program, but I've been so busy with work, so I really need to find the discipline to actually carve out the time of the day to study. So I gotta figure that out. Let's see. Man, I'm really debating something. No, I'll leave it. I will leave you be, Mr. Okay. Hi, Yosef. This is my challah plate. I always like these sort of gold-looking plates and stuff, so I was using that in my little video scene earlier. I'd love to see a few cooking videos sometime. Everything you show always looks delicious. Maybe test some recipes for your restaurant. That's funny, you're part of that conversation. Or maybe you saw it after. Yeah, actually I might end up doing some more food stuff. I was thinking about, well, I'm actually gonna make, so I showed you guys a kimchi video of me making kimchi sort of like an easy way. And now it's the time of the season where they have Napa cabbage, which is more like the traditional cabbage that you make kimchi with. So I saw it in the shuk the other day. So I'm actually gonna get some and do real full traditional kimchi. So maybe I'll share that at least. But I think I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to figure out like, what can I manage right now that's not heavy on editing? And actually today, I feel bad doing this because I really want to be close to this channel, and I genuinely enjoy video editing, especially when it's my content and I just, you know, feel close to what I'm doing, but it's so time consuming and energetically draining. So I started looking on Fiverr today for YouTube video editor so I can maybe just do small, easier things like sending recipe videos or that kind of stuff like someone else can do. So maybe, Bezrat Hashem, if I find somebody reasonably priced and kind of works out, then I'll be able to do recipe videos more frequently. Thank you, Agnola. It's very sweet. Yeah, I saw Napa cabbage at the Shuk. Actually, a lot of places had it, and I asked them how much it was. Like, you know, people had different prices, but the lowest price I heard was 15 shekel per cabbage, and like they're, you know, they're pretty big, so I think that's a good price. Seems reasonable. Maybe it's higher, but that's fine. That's amazing they have those on the market in Israel. Not only do they have those in the market in Israel, but I actually thought it was really interesting that in my Perek Shira book, there's like a page in Perek Shira that's about vegetables, or like the fields. I have to find it. And of all images, the picture is actually of Napa cabbage. So yeah, the vegetables of the field say, water its ridges abundantly, settle its furrows, soften it with showers, may you bless its growth. So it's in Perek Shira, and the picture is like Korean pechu, like this is what you make kimchi with. So I thought that was really cute and funny that that's the vegetable that would be shown in Perek Shira, and this edition at least. So they do have it in Israel. Wow, what is Perek Shira book? Do a heart with your hands, please. It's amazing. Ah, man, I don't know, doofus. Like, so for anyone not reading the comments with this, maybe after the fact, sometimes, once in a while, I'll get people who want to be a little bit, I don't know what the right word is. I don't know if it's the same person as before, but somebody who's leaving some impolite comments, and I have this thing where I really don't want to moderate or block people, or like, you know, not have you here if you feel so compelled to comment on my hands or whatever it is. Like, I'm kind of interested by the fact that people would take time in their day to do something like that. So I'm not really sure if I should keep you in here or let you take a little time out. I'm not really sure. I want to look at you. I feel like this is the same guy who comments about me being Korean and not married all the time, but it's a different name. At least the troll is clearly labeled. Yeah, his name here is Doofus, which is interesting. I'm not mad, I'm just like, I don't know if you're the same person. I'm intrigued and befuddled, perhaps is the better way to say it. Do a heart with your hands, please. I don't really do that. Okay, so I'm cleaning up. Why subject yourself to abuse? Part of me feels like it's almost embarrassing for the person afterwards to have a record like this of their behavior. So it almost feels like if I just remove this person and their comments, then I don't know. I guess part of me like kind of wants them to have this stay on my channel. I don't know. What do you guys think? Shalom. Hope your day is well. Brenda, I think I remember you. I remember your name. Are you a native Hebrew speaker? No, not in this lifetime anyway. And in past years, I need money for studying. Please give me some money. Yeah, trolls are funny. Don't answer if you don't want to. You don't have to get into details, but were you able to vote? I'm going to refrain from talking about election stuff. yeah, I'm gonna refrain. But bottom line for me, like, whatever happens in elections, like in any country, but yeah, in any country, it's all Hashem's hand. Like, Hashem's the one picking, so I kind of take all of that with a grain of salt, and I don't tend to get upset regardless of what happens, because it's all part of the plan. So I don't really fret about it. But, you know, of course I was paying attention. You have shalom on your channel like you have shalom in your home. You will have shalom on your channel. Yeah. Okie doke. She knows I know. Amen. Good soda. Yeah, I don't know why. I like the Tempo brand the most. They're all kind of similar, but I am always drinking this stuff. Just the plain soda. I agree, get the same, it's the best. Jasmine says, I don't know if the rest of your YouTube community feels this way, but what drew me to you was your insights and your explaining Jewish practices, even basic ones, but from your perspective as a convert. Yeah, I feel like that is a lot on my channel, and I kind of struggle with how much I want to continue sharing that, because it's like, I know it's helpful, and I get a lot of nice comments from you guys saying that that stuff is helpful, but it's just kind of not where I'm at right now, so I'm trying to figure out what sort of the balance is, because I want to be helpful. But at the same time, I think, you know, the main goal of my channel was really almost like really just like a journal diary kind of thing for me, like seeing my own progress and giving myself the space to just kind of share my life. So I feel like because it's not really what I'm focused on, it's not like I'm a channel that's trying to teach converts, or like that wasn't the main goal, and it was almost just like a positive side thing, and people have kind of taken to it, but I don't know how much of that kind of content I actually want to share explicitly on this channel. But what I am doing actually is planning to do a Q&A Zoom session thing with the rabbi that helped me with my conversion, and he directs a conversion program here in Israel. So I am planning to do some content and some videos and Q&As and things like that, specifically meant for converts and people who are sort of in the process or considering it. So I do want to address that, because I feel like a lot of you guys come with really nice comments and find that stuff helpful. And I'm just trying to figure out the balance for myself right now and like what I actually feel like making. So we will see. I'm a mega fan and was wondering if you're planning on doing more videos like that. Okay, cool. So Jasmine, you can join us if you're sort of still in the process phase. And I think what I might end up doing is I'm going to do that one with the rabbi for people who are, have questions about conversion or just kind of need a little bit more guidance from, specifically from a rabbi. But I might end up doing more just like little meetup kind of discussion things with smaller groups, like maybe 10 ladies or something like that, and just kind of a space to talk about some of the issues and things that people are going through in a little bit more of like a friendly, closed environment. So that's kind of what I'm thinking that I could be helpful with, because there actually, there are a lot of channels, I think, that like are about Jewish conversion or are teaching how to do things, and I'm really big on not making something that already exists in the world or that somebody else can do. So I'm trying to figure out what am I uniquely equipped to support. I heard a great quote recently by somebody named Rory Barden, maybe his last name was. I might be getting the last name wrong, but the quote was, "You're most powerfully positioned to help the person you once were," which I thought was really a great quote. So I've been trying to use that a little bit as my North Star when I think about what I can actually do to be of service. As a fellow convert, watching your conversion and Aliyah process has been inspiring. I've also immensely enjoyed watching you explore and settle into your new home in Israel. Yeah, that's been nice. I've been here now. I'm coming up on my Aliyah anniversary. It'll be 3 years. And it's been quite a process, quite a journey. And I really feel like not only this past year for sure, but really the last 6 months or so, I've felt particularly more settled and rooted and grounded, and like that I actually have a community and people around me and that kind of thing. So that's all kind of still new. Three years, Mazel Tov. Also, this is a deep take, but did your no-hide video ever pan out, or did you post and I missed it somewhere? No, so it wasn't just a video. I was basically I wanted to interview people and just understand the community, like the no-hide community more, because from what I've seen, it's just a bit unstructured, and there are certain rabbis that are speaking specifically to this community, but it felt a little bit few and far between compared to really the size of what the no-hide community will eventually be, which it'll be quite large, and ostensibly every non-Jew will be able to be part of that community. So I really wanted to find a way to actually structure and bring some organization to it, and I was trying to basically explore how can I support that community in some way, and just try and understand it. So I did a few interview calls with people, just kind of asking them these kinds of questions and understanding what sort of brought them into this space, and what kind of guidance and resources they have. So it is something that's still on my mind, and I would like to get involved with that at some point, but I have a lot on my plate right now, so I decided to just kind of put a pin in it. But it is among my list of maybe 20 projects, that's one of them, but I don't think it's in my top 10. So God willing, someday I can do something there, but in the meantime, I think, there are resources, so I'm just kind of seeing where that goes for a little bit. also have some chicken I should make. In whatever direction you take your channel, we're all here to support you. Can't wait to see what you do next. Stay safe. Thank you, Jasmine. It's very sweet of you. I appreciate that. So this thing that I made, which I'm gonna make some more of now, this is what it looks like the batter or whatever. So it's mostly tofu. And this is grapeseed oil. I try to fry things with grapeseed oil if it's gonna be high heat. Do you have trouble with the language when you first made Aliyah? Not really, because everyone, really almost everyone speaks English here. So there are really people who live here for like 10 years plus and they never learn Hebrew, which isn't great, but it is possible. So most people here do speak English. So it actually wasn't so hard. I mean, like reading signs and things like that obviously isn't, so easy, but I just use Google Lens for everything too. That anything I need to translate, I'll just use my Google Translation app, and you can use the lens feature and read labels and signs. So it's really not so bad. It was more that things were intimidating, like figuring out how to deal with the lease or just like that kind of stuff, or signing on to my my doctor portal, my insurance and that kind of stuff. So those are slightly challenging and more in an intimidating way, but not actually challenging, because everything you can navigate somehow. Hello, Meorah, happy belated birthday. Thank you, Ilan. I think these live streams are a really good idea. It's also nice when you make it a variety stream that involves cooking, showing books, chatting, etc. It's relaxing and interesting at the same time. Thank you. I'm just trying it. I like it. It's fun for me. But I always feel like even when I do vlogs or actual videos, I'm always like, is this boring or it's just so mundane? So I kind of question it a lot. But then I'm not a Twitch person, but I've checked it out, and some of these streams, people are just doing nothing for 12 hours, or they're just doing homework at their desk, and people watch them, which is very interesting. So I guess there's an interest. I feel bad right now because my energy is a little scattered right now, so I just feel like I'm talking nonsense, but cooking at the same time. Yeah, I just had kind of a crazy busy week. I'm really happy with it, actually. Busy in a really good way, but I just feel burnt out, almost burnt out. So I'm trying to fix my energy a little bit. So I'm very glad it's Thursday night, which for us is our Friday night. I mean, I work on my own hours and such, so I don't really have the same, it's not like Friday is a weekend per se, or, you know, I just make my own time. So if I want to take a day off, I'll take a day off, which is great, but I still like the feeling of the weekend. And tomorrow, I think, because I'm just gonna have a simple day, I might get some work done still tomorrow. So I don't know how much more energy I have to do tonight. I owe like a couple things for client stuff, but after that, it's more just like how wired I'll be at night, so how much I wanna use that energy to continue working or not. I don't know if you guys can see this. That's what it looks like. Looks like a kichel. What's a kichel again? What's a kichel? I don't remember what kichel is. Dan. Tomorrow I'm gonna go to every Friday I go to the shuk and then I'll buy my bread there, like at the market. There's a particular place I usually get my bread from, so I always go there. And I think tomorrow I'm gonna actually buy a blender, because I haven't bought one since I moved here. And I really just didn't want to have a bunch of appliances, because I don't want a bunch of stuff. But at this point, I think a blender would actually be kind of helpful. So I want to start making smoothies. Kind of for practical reasons. I'm not like a crazy smoothie person, but it's just a practical thing to eat during the day. Have you considered going on carnivore again? Did you have a good experience? Yeah, I actually did. I really liked carnivore a lot. I'm just not sure. I don't know, maybe I'll do it again. I just feel like I go on and off too much. So I'm just trying to eat more, you know, like whole foods, which generally I do. Like if I mean, this is more of like a cooked thing and, you know, it's fried. So I could definitely make this a bit healthier, but the ingredients themselves are very clean and simple stuff. Try wooden utensils. Yeah, I'm not touching the pan when I'm actually using the spoon here, but I actually eat a lot with wooden utensils, wooden spoons and stuff. What's kichel? Sounds familiar, but I don't remember. Normally if I'm doing stuff like this, I'll either have the news on or a shiur. Always something in the background. Do you think you'd ever be open to meet up, rather in Israel or the States? I'd love to meet you in this community in person. Someone mentioned that to me once. I guess, like, theoretically, it could be nice, but I'm not really sure. I'm not sure there's so much of a demand for that, is more to the point. But that's why, I guess that's why I'm sort of starting with the Zoom meetup. Like, it would be kind of cute if we did, like a Rosh Chodesh Zoom thing for women or something like that. Or like the conversation thing. I think that could be kind of fun. The rice just finished. I made a lot because I'm going to freeze some of it. And I'm not sure you've been elsewhere since your time in Israel, but do you get reverse culture shock, especially when the rest of the world is very much less Jewish-centric, access to kosher, etc.? Reverse culture shock. You mean like because I'm almost like used to being here now? I don't know, I guess maybe I'll experience that at some point, but I haven't left the country since before the war. Like it was like 2 summers ago that I was actually back in the States. And I think I went to Korea back then too, I don't remember. No, I was just in the States. So it's just been a while since I've actually left the country, and I don't have any plans to leave necessarily anytime soon. I would like to. I'd like to go back to visit both the US and Korea, but I'm really waiting for the war to finish, and hopefully that will be soon, but I'm just kind of in it for the long haul. So at some point I'll go back. Looks like latkes. I actually don't like latkes. I just think they're kind of boring tasting, and I'm not a huge fan of them. So I don't really make latkes. I made, like the last time I made latkes, It was like the year I made Aliyah. It was kind of a while ago. But I do love tempura, so like I'll make basically some kind of fried Asian thing, but I don't go out of my way for latkes. My sister sent me a recipe last year for kimchi latkes, and actually those looked really good. So maybe I'll make that this year. Actually, the kechalach is sweet and does not contain tofu just because the egg's base made the same kechalach. Please share the kimchi latke recipe when you make it. Yeah, maybe I'll have to do that. I mean, it sounds good. Really intense week. I went to like a holistic, like, I don't know how to describe her, but she's just like different holistic treatments and such. And I went to her today and I got this, she like made me a custom aromatherapy blend. And it's really, I'm not big into aromatherapy and essential oils and stuff. Like I have a few cheaper oils for my diffuser, which I do have, but I've never really gotten something like this. And she told me to smell it like 10 times a day. And it's very strong, so I kind of like it. I like the container. I think it's cute. And she gave me some homework to do, so I have to do that. I think this is about as mundane as it gets on my channel. Don't answer if it's too personal, but do you have any experience with a matchmaker, a shadchan? No, I'm not. I'm not really into that. Like I don't really want to go to one, so I'm just not doing that. But you know, it could be good. I mean, I've talked to one for professional reasons. I was going to help a shadchan with his marketing at one point. So, you know, I've like interacted with shadchanim, but not as a client. The ASMR is fabulous. Oh yeah, good. I'm glad you can enjoy the sounds. I've had a weird, confusing appetite lately, which is why I want to get the blender so I can just get smoothies, which are just a little bit easier. So I just haven't really been in the mood to eat a lot of things. I made some of this earlier and I like had a little bit of it and I just kind of got sick of it. I'm making this like big batch right now. I'm making all this because I had all this extra tofu, so I wanted to make sure I use it up. But I'm gonna freeze most of this. I'm gonna put them in parchment paper, freeze them, and like put them in a Ziploc. So it'll be easier for another time. Same with the rice. I don't know what I'm gonna eat tomorrow. I'm so happy. I'm just by myself tomorrow and just kind of retreating a little bit. I really needed that. So typically on like a typical Shabbat meal, I guess for me when I'm eating alone, I love having bibimbap, which is like mixed Korean rice bowl kind of thing. I think that's always a nice comfort food. Just like rice with different veggies and stuff mixed with pepper paste and sesame oil. It's like a very nice simple meal. So I could do that. Or I could get pre-made food, which is kind of a treat, but I feel like I've been spending a lot of money like in the last week particularly. From my birthday and like going out to eat, and then I took a friend out for her birthday, and then I'll buy the blender tomorrow. So I'm just like, I need to like slow down. So maybe I won't buy pre-made food. I don't know. And also with my appetite, I just don't know what I'm into. Oh, I have chicken I need to actually cook. Yeah, that's what I'll have. Actually, I can make that. Would you like to raise your children trilingual, Korean, English, Hebrew? For sure. I mean, they'll definitely speak Hebrew because they'll, go to school here and everything. So that's for sure. I really want them to learn Korean, which means I need to learn better Korean. And English for sure, I'll speak in the home as well. So at least trilingual, and then whatever other languages my husband speaks, I would want, them to absorb that too. Like if his family is from a particular country or something and they speak a different language, I would really want to respect that and make sure that, the kids speak whatever languages that their grandparents speak. Because I really regretted not speaking better Korean so that I could have communicated even more with my grandfather. It's like one of my few like sort of life regrets. Like I try not to think of ever having regrets in life because everything's sort of meant to happen, but I really wish I had spoken more to him. So I want to make sure that my kids really have a strong command of whatever languages that their family, all their family members speak. So this is the chicken I marinated yesterday that I'll cook. It's just chicken thighs, and I put like a spice blend in it that I made this spice blend myself. I was trying to mimic this like shakshuka spice blend that I got here, or got in the States and I couldn't find here. It's basically like paprika, I think ground coriander, garlic, salt, things like that. I made this little spice blend. But I didn't have, and then I put avocado oil in there, but I didn't have any lemon or some kind of acid. So I feel like it won't be as good. It would have been better to marinate it in some kind of acid. I'm gonna cook that in the oven. I'm trying to research on how to raise Jewish children while reminding them of their Asian heritage. Obviously, it's super niche, so do you have any advice as the only other person I know who can help? Oh, yeah, I mean, that's super important to me. For me, like, food is a major thing, like, just even everyday food that you eat, like, making sure that they're really connected to, you know, to the cuisine, I think is a major and very easy and, you know, very pleasant way to stay connected to the culture. I have a hard time personally because I don't watch like Korean shows or TV or movies and things like that, and like I know a lot of people connect that way. There's like an old TV show I'll watch sometimes on YouTube if I really just need to kind of blank out my mind a little bit. It's called High Kick. It's really fun. But aside from that, like I don't really watch Korean shows, so I kind of miss out on that piece culturally. And I don't know, just bringing them to the country, you know, whichever country, Asian country you're referring to. You know, having them visit family and just actually build a connection with the land is incredibly important. So I would do all those things. And then language, for sure language. There's a project called Lunar. It used to be, so I participated in it, and at the time at least, it was called the Jewish Asian Film Project. And they're basically just sharing stories and connecting Asian Jews. And I was part of, like, I think at least a couple videos that they did. It's not really my, I don't really connect with it anymore. I think like just they're coming from a little bit of different ideological background or something, but so I'm not really like in touch with that community now, but maybe that's something you might be interested in, that you might enjoy. So look that up. Maybe that's a good way for you to kind of connect with other fellow Asian Jews and such. I guess if I'm eating this tomorrow, it doesn't really match with Korean rice, so I'll probably make like Persian rice or something. Or maybe like I'll make rice and black beans, something else. I'll match with this, and I'll make cauliflower. So I'll cook my own food tomorrow, more economical. I remember the Lunar Project. I've been to watch your testimony at least 20 times. It really inspired me. Oh, thanks, Jasmine. I love connecting Judaism and Asian cultures using the significance of the moon. Yeah. I love that too. I'm super into that. Yeah, I guess if I had to pin it down to one thing, it's probably the food that I eat and also just staying in touch with my family. Those are the two things that help me maintain my sense of culture and identity. But I also like at the same time feel like I don't have to try because I just feel like so inherently Korean, like that as much as I could be better at speaking Korean or you know, have Korean friends and things like that, I just feel Korean. So I think it's also just a sense of like your inner identity. I'm gonna broil that. So there are currently 17 of you on here, and I feel the need to apologize because I'm just so like scattered today, and I feel like I'm just saying nothing, and I like can't even think straight right now. Like I've just been working so much today, and I just have so many things on my mind. Good things though, so it's good. It's all good problems, but I'm just busy. I'm really focusing on my business and trying to get new clients and working on my own marketing, planning that Zoom thing that I mentioned earlier, and just have like a lot of different projects open at the time. Which is this aromatherapy lady told me. She was amazing. She was really awesome. That was the highlight of my day, seeing this woman. It was really fascinating, but that was her whole thing. Like, you have too much stuff in your mind, or like you overthink, and that I need to be like more grounded or like more in my body, which kind of knew that already, but it's always helpful to be reminded. This is my Kiddush cup, by the way. I really enjoy this Kiddush cup because I got it as a gift when I went to a rabbi. It's a yeshiva in Meorah called Yeshiva Orach HaChaim, and there's a rabbi called Rabbi Elbaz, Reuven Elbaz there, and I got it as a gift, like just for visiting, which was like so baller and awesome. So like I thought that was really cool, and it has his name on it. But I enjoy it because it's totally not my style or like the kind of thing I would buy in terms of like Judaica. Before that, my Kiddush cup was like, I mean, I still actually use it because it's a very small cup, so it's just like the bare minimum requirement of wine, but it's literally a clear glass. I don't even know where it is now. Oh, I think it's here. Yeah, this is my normal Kiddush cup is literally this, and this is actually an empty yahrzeit candle cup glass. And I like this because I think it's like 3.5 ounces or something, so like just kind of hits the minimum. So I like to have very simple stuff, but I enjoy how ornate that cup is. It's kind of funny. But I would like someday, if I like bought myself a fancy Kiddush cup, I would want a gold one, because all my stuff is gold. So I would like to get one of those. That's what I want to do next time I'm in Korea. I want to get maybe even some custom stuff. Like I want to get more stuff for my Shabbos table. Like instead of the challah covers here, like it's just really not my style. So I want to get like a Korean like silk fabric kind of thing that's like very traditional Korean style, and use that as my challah cover. So little things like that I think also help me infuse my home and my day with little cultural notes. Hi Meorah, Atlantic Shield. Hello, and hi KF. Jasmine, by the way, I still use the habit tracker you recommended in your spiritual burnout video. It's been a lifesaver for me and my connection to Shem ever since I got the idea from you. Oh, that's awesome. Wow, you go way back. That's amazing. Like you made your own, I assume like you made your own sort of version of it. That's awesome. I did that recently too, actually. I made a new schedule, and it's like, I'm doing this all the time. This is my thing. I like made this crazy intense schedule. So I'll show you guys. This is like how I wrote it out. Like I have all the different times laid out. Starts at 5 a.m. and then ends at 10:30 because I'm trying to like get my sleep in order, which I haven't been doing lately. I have these different production blocks. I have like gym or swim. I have all my davening times. I have time for dinner and Torah because I'm doing, like what I used to do is do Parsha. I would just do weekly Parsha study like all in one sitting. And I would basically read the Parsha all on Shabbat, like in Hebrew, as my Hebrew practice. But now what I'm doing is just doing one aliyah a day so I can go a little bit deeper into each aliyah. So I have that like during dinner time. And then for every day, I have a thing that I'm supposed to focus on. So like on Sunday, I would have it as like my digital cleanup day where I make sure that my, pictures and messages and inbox and desktop are all like nice and tidy. My Monday would be my finance day and so on. So like I have this whole crazy system. I kind of had to modify it again though. So I'm kind of in the process of working out a new version of that. But I'm glad you're actually doing that. That's awesome. And then I have this other thing that I do where I have these little, I just love these. I just have a fascination with cubes. I love little square cubes. And I have this little tray and I'll have this is 40, basically 40 days. Like, so it's like 40 of these little cubes. And if I'm working on a habit or some kind of growth thing, I'll basically have 40 things. Or if I'm kind of going through something that I'm waiting for a 40-day period, basically I'll have this. And every day that passes, I'll take one away. So I actually just started this one a couple days ago, and then I end up I used to have it in my bedroom, but I just, put these two. So like 2 days have passed. So then I can see the tray emptying and I can see a little pile forming, and it kind of represents the progress I'm going through for whatever particular thing I'm working on. So that's kind of a little system I have as of late. But I keep tweaking my schedule and my progress tracking and just like what I'm working on, because my work life is just kind of crazy again right now. And my ulpan schedule, like that'll change. So I'm really kind of tweaking what I'm doing. I'm making aliyah soon. Did you go to ulpan? Yay! That's awesome. You're coming home. I'm so excited. I'm generally excited whenever like any person just comes back. I feel like I'm like really eagerly awaiting everyone to return. It's really exciting. So I started ulpan in September, and then they canceled my class because it was a 5-day-a-week class that was supposed to be like an intense schedule that ends in 5 months. They canceled the class because there weren't enough people in it. Made me get into a 10-month program, which I didn't have time for. So I just switched to an online program. So I have yet to really get into that. I actually ran into my ulpan teacher, one of them, around the shuk today. But I actually feel like I'm able to understand a lot more Hebrew just from listening to people. So I'm excited about that. See, so I'm putting it on like a parchment paper like that, and I'll fold it up and then I'll put it in the freezer. But what's nice, KF, is that, not that I recommend you wait this long, but the Ministry of Aliyah gives you 10 years to actually use your free voucher for Hebrew. So you have plenty of time to get acclimated before you actually dive in, but it could be good to just dive in right away. I think the challenging thing is really like working and going to ulpan at the same time. I know other people who just couldn't handle the schedule, so they dropped out. And a lot of the people, perhaps if not most of the people in my class, were not working. So it is a bit intense, but it's definitely worthwhile. And I also did tutoring, like with a private tutor. And things just kind of, as much as people say that Israel is so expensive, maybe that's kind of true compared, depends on where you're coming from, but a lot of things are actually cheaper here. So even if you signed up privately for an ulpan or got a tutor, it's not actually that expensive compared to the States. So I might end up doing that again too. How difficult did you find it to switch between Ulpan courses? Did you go through Nefesh B'Nefesh? I didn't for the Ulpan, but I mean, they will help you with everything, like anything and everything. They're just so awesome. So if you did need help figuring out how to, sign up and stuff, they'll totally help you through it. And actually they have this program called Cafe Olé. And if you look on their YouTube channel, they actually have, I think it's free for everyone, it's just like public, but they have these like Zoom sessions called Cafe Olé, and they'll teach you kind of basic conversational Hebrew and stuff. So that's also something they offer. But no, once you make Aliyah, you have this thing called like a personal area, like some kind of personal portal, and it's basically like your portal for the Ministry of Aliyah, and you sign on, and then you literally, it's like so easy to use. You just click a big button to sign up for Ulpan. They'll issue you a voucher, and then they'll send you, if you ask them, just like a list of the different Ulpans to choose from. You just pick one a bit arbitrarily because they're all, pretty similar. So I just picked mine based on vicinity, like whatever was closest to home. And then you just email the program director or whatever. You just email them and send them a copy of your voucher, and they sign you up. So it was like super duper easy. And when I switched out of it, it really wasn't hard either. I did everything through that portal. And yeah, it was really easy. I start with a tutor online as soon as they decide to make Aliyah. Yeah, that's great. That is good. I really need vocab. I need to sit down and actually write out some missing vocab. I said, like, I have a lot of flashcards. That's kind of my system. But I want to start doing that more like with categories, like focusing on colors one week and then like office words, or just kind of attacking vocabulary by categories, which oddly, like in Ulpan, they don't really do that. Like the words just seem very random, and like it wasn't like we're learning about words related to school today, or like what happens at the grocery store. Like I felt like a lot of the vocabulary was just very randomly grouped together. So I didn't love that approach. Guess I should finish that. It's my chicken. Have you ever thought about attending seminary to continue your Jewish education? No, honestly, I feel like I'm kind of old for seminary. I know that older people do end up going to seminary, but I just think I'm like, my schedule is kind of hard to be in some kind of enrolled program. And I just love learning a little bit more independently, to be honest. So I'm always listening to different shiurim. Like I have specific rabbis I listen to very consistently. I'm always learning at least a couple books, if not more, on my own. And then they're like real life rabbis. They can ask questions if I need guidance on specific things. So I kind of have my system worked out, and I don't really feel like I would necessarily feel so nurtured by having like a seminary environment or learning with other people at this stage in my life. Like I'll drop into a shiur here and there in a group setting. I did that a little bit more when I was like less busy, but I'm not opposed to it. I just don't really feel called to sign up for seminary at this stage, at this point. But I heard about a program called Malhut. I think it's called Malhut, and it's just like a drop-in, which is perfect for me. And it's like a women's school. It's not really a seminary, I don't think, but they have Torah classes for women, and it's all like Hasidut, which I love. So it's kind of on my radar. Like if I ever have time, like maybe I'd drop into that. But there's just so much good stuff on YouTube. There's this rabbi called Ephraim Palomov or Palmonov. I think it's Palomov, and he's really good. I've been listening to him a lot lately. He's from Toronto, and his shiurim are just really cool. So I listen to that a lot. Personal portal sounds like a super cool and helpful idea. Did you find it easy to find an apartment? I was very lucky. This was the first it was a second. It was a second apartment I saw, and as soon as I walked in, it's like I knew I wanted it. So it wasn't too hard for me, at least. But everyone has their sort of own challenges. I think I hear a lot of people having a hard time finding apartments, but it depends on what you're looking for, I guess. And I worked with a real estate broker, so she just, you know, I give her my list of things I wanted, and yeah, it's just helped me out. I would really love to buy this apartment. Can't afford it at all right now, like to actually buy it, but that is one of my goals. And I'm hoping this year that maybe I can, but we'll see. And KF, for like the first year to year and a half, I was living in Airbnbs. Like long term, I would have an Airbnb for like 3 to 5 months or something, I think. And I just did that as a soft landing because I didn't want to commit to an apartment when I just got here. Didn't know how to navigate the whole lease in Hebrew. It was just very intimidating. Also didn't know where the heck different neighborhoods were, so I had no concept of where I would want to live. And also on top of that, not feeling like super stable yet financially and like certain that I wanted to stay with the job that I, you know, had at the time. So I didn't rush into getting an apartment. I really waited it out, and I'm glad I did. And when I felt good and ready, I was able to get this one. And I think that's just such a nice thing about Airbnb, that you can do that. And there are a lot of Airbnbs here, so it's kind of another approach you can take. And then if you're open to having a roommate, I'm sure it's that much easier to find options. Which I wasn't, but it worked out for me. Can you recommend the broker? It's going to be about 4 years until. So the company was called Jerusalem Capital. Darn, I don't remember the name. If it comes to me, I'll say it. It's a kind of a popular one here. But I don't necessarily know that I don't know that it really makes a difference, at least for rentals. I feel like everyone kind of knows the same stuff that's listed or like available. Maybe it was called Jerusalem Classic Realty. I think that might have been it. But there's a lot of people who do real estate here, so it's not hard to find. Is it fairly common to be able to rent an apartment and then buy it? Probably not. I don't think that's common, because I think people who are renting apartments here, they're investment properties, and they're like in it to hold on to it for a long time. And the property values, I think, just really continue to go up because it's such prime real estate. So I don't think it's so common that you can actually end up buying the apartment you're in. And also what happens very often, I hear about this all the time, are people who keep these apartments like either just for the Hagim, like to come visit Israel, so it's like, you know, just an extra home that they have, or they eventually like give it to their children, and then they have to vacate the person renting it, you know, like after they make Aliyah, they'll end up living here, and then, you know, they'll vacate the tenant. So that happens actually kind of often. So I haven't really heard of that situation coming up where you can actually buy what you're renting. Hola, saludos, are done. No way, no roommates, right? Same. Messi or Ronaldo? Neither. Not a sports person. I really don't understand people watching sports. It's just so, it's really not interesting to me. Just say anyone. Messy. Arbitrarily. What are you cooking? So I was making these earlier. Doesn't look so pretty now. This is like the end of it. So it's just tofu. It's kind of like a Korean thing. It's just tofu, egg, a little bit of potato starch just to hold it together more, scallions, peppers, and carrots. Just all finely chopped up, diced up. Tiny bit of salt and pepper, and that's it. And I'm just making these. I'm making a big batch of them because I'm gonna freeze a bunch. And I will have some for dinner at some point if I do. Yeah, I'll eat dinner. And I'm making chicken for tomorrow for Shabbos. Wow, the most messy one, the World Cup. Did you ever go on a Shabbaton yet? No, I actually, not like a Shabbaton, like I've been, you know, away for Shabbos is like, not really, I guess. Here, not really. I guess once I went for a Pesach, but that was my own thing. So no. Just doesn't really appeal to me. I mean, maybe someday I'll do it, but to me, like, not to be in Yerushalayim for Shabbat is like, I just wouldn't, I would really always prefer to be here. But no, I'm sure like at some point it can come up in life. I really like being at my shul for Shabbat and yeah, I don't know, just being close here. Thanks for response. Subscribe from India. Love you, dear. When was the World Cup? I was once in Korea during the World Cup, when Korea was in the World Cup. Yeah, I don't really follow football, soccer. What holiday Jewish event have you experienced in Israel that differs the most from the way that it's celebrated in the States? Ooh, that's a fun question. I'm not the right person to answer that because I really didn't get into the Jewish community, like really having community life until I came here. Because what happened was that I only became observant 5-6 years ago. And very quickly, like a few months into that, I had to move because I quit my job and didn't have money. So like I had to move out of my apartment in Boston, and I went to live with my sister who lives in a town where there is no Jewish community, like in a walkable distance. So I didn't really get to partake in a lot of things. And then COVID happened. And then I made Aliyah. So a lot of things I didn't fully experience until I came here to Israel. But I guess like just one that comes to mind off the top of my head is maybe Tu B'Shvat, interestingly, just because it's not that much of a thing here, but it's more of a thing here than it is in the States. So I feel like maybe that kind of comes to mind. Yeah, I guess that's the thing that comes to mind. I feel like I can't imagine that things are celebrated differently in general, because a lot of the community here is from the diaspora or like from the States and stuff, so they just bring their traditions and ways of celebrating. It's not really that different. Like there's nothing that calls to mind like that's so specifically Israeli as opposed to just Jewish, and that's such a universal thing, regardless of where in the world you are, which is kind of the beautiful thing. There is that consistency. So yeah, I haven't really noticed anything that felt distinctly Israeli in terms of ways we celebrate things. I mean, we have like certain holidays like Yom Ha'atzmaut and like more Israeli days that are celebrated here. We don't really do much for the States. As boring as I feel for you guys, like I feel like I'm being really boring today. I appreciate you keeping me company, because even doing this, like that took a while, and I really wasn't in the mood to do this, but I kind of, had to do it. I guess that's the thing about these live streams. It's more like being in good company. I don't watch live streams from other people really. I did like here and there in the past, but not really. But I do watch like vloggers or like mukbang. Sometimes I got really into that at one point. So I can definitely relate to how it's just kind of comforting seeing, like listening to someone in the background, even doing mundane stuff. I do enjoy that sometimes. Did you get invited for Shabbat this week? Pesach should be way easier there, no. No? It feels like it's not Pesach in Israel because of the exploits and loopholes done there. Okay, so did I get invited for Shabbat this week? I was actually supposed to host one friend, and I was really tired, and I told her like I just kind of need some alone time right now, so I canceled that. And then somebody invited me for Soda Shlishit, which I think I'm gonna go to, but it's still a little TBD for me. And I had another friend ask me if I have any plans, so, she probably wanted to do something here. So I had like options, but I just didn't have it in me, so I felt like I wanted some alone time. But fortunately, I do have at this point like a good decent amount of people that if I really wanted plans, I can find them. I just don't like doing that though. Generally, like once in a while, if I feel like I want to be around people, like I can do that. But overall, I'm still not super comfortable asking for people to host me and stuff. So if I actually ask somebody if they'll host me, it means I'm probably like pretty comfortable with them. So I do have some places that I'll do that. Either I'm really comfortable with them, or I feel like having me there won't be any trouble, so like I don't feel bad asking. Yeah, like some people host more than others. Some people have like a little bit more of a smaller like family feeling, and then in those situations I won't feel as comfortable asking. Pesach should be way easier there, no? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, just because the food and stuff. Yeah, I think so. And feels more special. And then, we only have, obviously, one day. Like, we don't have 2-day Hagim. Feels like it's not, oh, I read that. Oh, you are Jewish. Do you have a Tanakh with you there? So it's actually funny. I don't have a literal Tanakh. I only have, like, different, Humashim, like, different, Humashim, right? Like, I have different versions of the Humash, but my Tanakh is actually in Korea right now. It's been there for a while, and I haven't bought a new Tanakh. I have a book of Tehillim, so like I have all the things that I would need from a Tanakh in different books and volumes, so I kind of have been piecemealing it. But yeah, my proper Tanakh is in Korea at the moment. Actually, I'm gonna go to, there's a Chabad store here. That's like a Chabad bookstore basically. And I wanted to get, because I'm going a little more deeply into my Parsha study lately, like for this year, I wanted to get the Chabad like Chumash set. And what I like about it, I mean, it's just cool because you have all the commentary based in Chassidut, and like it's gonna be just cool and interesting. But aside from that, what I like is that each volume, like each book of the Torah, comes in its own book, so it's just like a little bit lighter and easier to like to carry and stuff. So I've been meaning to get that. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I think I'll do that tomorrow. Yeah, I feel like that I need a little bit more interesting commentary. It's the last one. Almost done. I mean, that would have gone so much faster if I just had a big pan. But I'm stubbornly refusing to get a big nonstick pan, even though I'm using this little one. Where are you from? So I'm from the Boston area. I was born in Boston, grew up in Massachusetts. I'm Korean, and now I live in Jerusalem. By the way, do you think I can substitute electric rice cooker for a slow cooker crock pot? No, because I don't think it's like, it depends on how nice the rice cooker is. So like a fancy rice cooker that's like, you know, those like $500 rice cookers, they'll have slow cooker settings, and it's basically like an Instapot, and, you know, does all, like, it's very multifunctional. So you can do that, but like something like mine, like this is just like a very cheap, basic rice cooker. You couldn't do that, I don't think, because I think the heat setting would be way too high, probably. And I don't know that it's safely built to sustain heat for long periods of time. So I wouldn't do that personally, unless it was actually one of those multi-function rice cookers. I do have a crock pot actually. That was the hardest thing not to do, what was the hardest thing not to do / eat after your conversion? Was it hard to get used to Judaism? It's hard. It's hard because there's so much. Like there's so much to do and to take on, and it's like just changing your entire lifestyle, your entire like everything. It's like it's very intensive and very immersive, and it's like literally everything you do, from how you wake up in the day to what you wear, what you eat, how you speak, how you walk, how you just everything, like what you're reading, what you're watching, what you're not watching, like how you like make friends, who you're not friends with, like on and on and on. Like everything is so wildly different in terms of how to live and like actually live an observant life. So that, you know, in that sense, it's a lot, but I was super motivated. I wanted it all, and I wanted that immersion. So for me, it wasn't like, oh no, but I don't really want to do this mitzvah, and yet I have to. Like I didn't have as much of that struggle. If I wasn't doing something, it was either because I was ignorant of it, or because I felt that the version of what I was doing was actually genuinely sufficient, whether or not I was right or wrong. So I didn't really have that sort of intimidation factor that I think a lot of people who become observant go through, where they're like, I don't like want to stop wearing pants and I'm struggling with this. Like I didn't have as much of that, which was great. I mean, you know, I still have my areas that are a little bit harder, as everyone does, but I don't think it was that. I think I had a bit of a different situation because I was so hungry for it and really wanted specifically to be so immersed in Jewish observance and this whole lifestyle and this whole service. So yeah, I think it was a little different for me. But I mean, you know, it was hard. Like your other questions, like was it the hardest thing not to eat? And it wasn't after my conversion. I stopped, you know, I started getting into eating kosher well before my conversion. So it's a gradual process, and all of my favorite foods in the past were all tray foods. So yes, I missed all that stuff. But it wasn't hard because when I took on different mitzvot, I really took it as a black and white. This is what Hashem wants of me. So it wasn't like I had to struggle so much of whether I was like ready or willing to do it. It was just a matter of like, you got to do it, so you do it. Generally speaking, I think that's how I approached it. Yeah. And was it hard to get used to Judaism? Yeah. Not Judaism. What was hard, really hard for me, everyone has their different struggles of like what they struggle with when they get into Jewish life, not just for converts, like for any Jew who walks this whole, path and like becomes observant, it's hard for all of us. And everyone has their thing. For me, it wasn't about Judaism or like the religion or the rules or anything like that that was particularly hard. For me, my struggle was peoplehood and feeling like I was part of the community or, feeling like I would be accepted. And it was that whole idea of Jewish identity that was my thing. So I struggled with that quite a bit. It kept me away from Judaism for over a decade. I waited 14 years between discovering Judaism and really wanting to convert. I waited 14 years and then did my first conversion or, process started. And then it was another 4 years after that that I did my Orthodox conversion. So, it was quite a journey for me, and that was my issue. But moving to Israel completely changed all of that. Like, everything was in my head. I really thought I wouldn't be accepted in the community. Like, I just had a whole different idea of what the Jewish people and the Jewish community looked and felt like and how welcoming they would be of me. And as soon as I came to Israel, like, all that sort of faded away, and I've been just so comfortable here. And it was just like, oh, okay, this is what actually living, in the Jewish community, in being part of Am Yisrael, like, this is what it's actually like. And it was so welcoming and exactly where I wanted to be, where I needed to be. And it just was like so natural. And when I was living in America, I wasn't part of that. Like, I wasn't really in that scene. And when I made Aliyah, like, I wasn't living in walking distance of a Jewish community. So I was really, isolated. And yeah, that was really what made it hard at the time. What's your favorite food in Israel? Out of like Israeli food, maybe? I'm not gonna call it a favorite. I'm just saying this because I'm assuming you want to know what I like out of like Israeli food. I really like barekas. Like, I really, really like potato, like specifically potato barekas. Like, cheese are good, like they're okay, but just, yeah, they're so delicious. I love those. Those are really fun. They're like really bad for you. And I wish you could find barekas that are made like with butter, because margarine is so bad for you. All that fake, like hydrogenated oil, like vegetable oil stuff, like margarines that they put in there, I feel like it's really, really junky. So it's like my little treat if I eat barekas. But I do love those. Those are really good. Conversion, what were you before? So I grew up Christian, like many Korean Americans do. And I was like really religious as a kid. Religion and spirituality was always a big part of my life. But gradually, like kind of with little seeds of doubt starting in childhood, I realized I wasn't Christian. Did it help being a conservative Jew first? So I don't consider myself to have been a conservative Jew. I was part of a conservative community, a conservative synagogue, and the rabbi that was really helping me at the time was a conservative rabbi. What I liked about that particular shul was that they used an Orthodox siddur, which I still use today. And so I was able to grow into Judaism and into like Torah life and observance the way I wanted to, as I kind of had that safe space of like, baby steps. So for me, it was exactly what I needed. It really made sense for me in terms of where I was at in my process. And again, with the underlying point being that I was struggling so much with not feeling welcome in the community and like having all these sort of identity issues I was working through. So it really was great for me, and most importantly, allowed me to make Aliyah because I had that conservative conversion. So I was able to come, and that changed everything. So it was really perfect for me, but I never decided or realized I wanted to go through this conversion process feeling like I didn't want to go all the way, and feeling like I had any, I guess I'll say it this way, theologically, I never agreed with the idea of picking and choosing mitzvot. I felt that all Jews belong in Israel. Being Jewish means being Shomer Shabbat, like you have to keep kosher. Like I was really, for me, all the mitzvot came with a package, and it was part of being a Jew. And so even when I was in that community, it wasn't the final destination. I was always very aware of that. So yeah, that was my situation. But it was a really lovely community. I'm so grateful for them, and it was really exactly what I needed at the time. Cholent, says Katmium. I just started, oh yeah, like cholent, right. So I wasn't eating meat for like over a decade, and then recently I started eating meat. So I only recently tried cholent for the first time. And I actually did a video like maybe a couple years ago on this channel where I was like sharing a vegetarian cholent that I got, but it's like, it's not gonna be that good. So I finally got to try real cholent like not too long ago actually, and it's so good, and I really like it. And actually my shul last Shabbat, I didn't even eat lunch at home because they had a really good kiddush, and they had like the best cholent, and I'm really into actually Yerushalmi kugel. I don't like potato kugel. I just really I'm not into it. I think it tastes really boring. And I've had I've had a good variety of them at this point. But Yerushalmi kugel is like really good. And I thought it was really weird at first because it's sweet and peppery and just kind of odd, but it really grew on me. So I do love me some cholent and Yerushalmi kugel, like especially the combination, and especially like the burnt edges. Yeah.